year, for the very first time, ESF students were invited to exhibit at Hong Kong's largest outdoor festival, Clockenflap. The music and arts event featured famous artists from around the world, including the Arctic Monkeys, the Cardigans, and our remarkable ESF students. Our talented creatives are from ESF West Island School, and they're studying BTEC Digital Design. Their project is a collection of imaginative, augmented reality posters with amazing animations that come to life when viewed through an app. Let's meet our brilliant design students and hear more about this once-in-a-lifetime learning opportunity.
Clockenflap is one of the coolest festivals in Hong Kong, so being asked to exhibit my design project was the greatest honor.
Knowing our design would be seen by so many people was totally amazing.
This exhibition was a really great opportunity for us to use the skills we've learned in class and bring it to life in a really exciting real-world situation.
The project was entirely student-led. Students worked exactly like industry professionals, which is what a BTEC is all about. They worked with creative thinking, organisational skills and leadership.
This project enabled us to demonstrate all the design skills we have learned at in school and also how to best communicate using color, graphics, type, and animation techniques. It was such a rewarding experience.
This was a fantastic opportunity to use the digital software available in the school.
I loved the creative process, and seeing our designs at the festival was an experience I would never forget.
Our teachers are incredibly supportive of us and encourage us to think outside of the box.
This project was an incredible learning experience. It let students express themselves creatively, confidently, and really refine their skills. We're so proud of all of our students.
Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar. Let me just share screen. Hopefully we can see that. Okay, so as you know, this webinar is for Year 11, current Year 11 digital design students. And the webinar tonight is about post-16 level 3 pathway in BTEC Digital Design. And this course is part of the IBCP pathway and the ID pathway, which I'm sure you've heard of previously in some of the whole school webinars that you might have attended. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the course for next year for Year 12 and Year 13, as I know some of the current Year 11 cohort are really interested in studying this. And I'm also going to explain a little bit more about how the course works for university applications worldwide and what universities actually look for with relation to a design portfolio, which this course really helps to build. Okay, so what is a BTEC? Currently, all of your children are studying at least one BTEC. They're doing the level 2 BTEC in digital design. So as you know, a BTEC is a British qualification, exactly like a GCSE. BTEC stands for Business and Technology Education Council. And basically, we have this pathway that runs through level 2, and that's studied in Year 10 and 11. And then in Year 12 and 13, students can study a BTEC level 3, which is a more advanced version of the specialist course. BTECs, unlike a GCSE, are really more focused on practical applications. So there are no examinations in a BTEC, it's all coursework, and that's because it's designed to be really, really hands-on. And at West Island, we offer BTECs in multiple subjects. So digital design is one, but we have engineering, multimedia production, sports, lots of different subjects. And it's just a different alternative to if you were in the UK and you didn't want to study an A level, you might have heard of that qualification. It's just a different pathway or a different type of course. As I've said, a BTEC is 100% coursework, and that is the same with the level 3 qualification, so that students will not have an exam. Everything is internally assessed by me as the class teacher, and then a BTEC moderator reaches out to us from the UK every year, and they ask for a sample of student work and they quality control check it. It is a recognised pathway, the level 3 course, to further education. So if students want to go to university and do various degree courses, or if they want to go straight into employment, a lot of employers, especially in the creative industries, really recognise and value BTECs because of the practical element of it. And like I said, all the universities worldwide do accept it into entry into degree programmes. And yeah, employers really, really value it, especially in the creative industries. So in year 12 and 13, this is basically a breakdown of the types of skills and the types of design specialisms that we try to cover in the course. So we do experiential design, which covers app and web design. Now you can get degrees in UI UX, which is user interface and user experience design. So that might be something that a student wants to go into at university after their time at WIS. We also do projects linked to games design, wearable devices. So that's things like your Apple Watch. How does that work? What would the UI UX look like for that? Communication design covers graphic design, so branding, marketing, digital illustration, packaging design, promotional design. And then we also look at motion design, so animation, which a lot of our students are really interested in, augmented reality and character design. So there are 2 units in the level 3 programme. One unit is studied for the whole of year 12, and one unit is studied for the whole of year 13. And I know that sounds like a really long time to just do a single piece of coursework for an entire year, but actually there are lots of different projects within that unit. So the unit in year 12 is called A1 Skills Development. And this is where students complete a series of different teacher-led design briefs. And that's where we try to bring in the specialisms and the skills from the previous slide. So we'll do a brief that's in branding, a brief that's in illustration, maybe one that's in animation, maybe one that's in web design. Every year, I will survey the students before they start the course, and I ask them what it is that they're interested in. What do they want to go to university to study? And then we write briefs based on that. We also give them the option to complete an open choice project. So they write their own brief as part of the A1 Skills Development Unit, and they produce a portfolio of work based on an area of interest. In year 13, students will do a unit called A2, responding to a brief. And this is where Pearson, the exam board for BTEC, set us a design brief. So they set it to all of the students worldwide studying the BTEC Level 3 course. Normally it's a topic. So last year it was World Ocean Day. This year it's World Creativity Day. And it's very, very open. The students have to just design something in relation to that topic. So that's again where they get a lot of free choice, a lot of student agency. If they want to go and do illustration at university, they can design an illustration as long as it links to that topic. If they're interested in web design, they can build a website as long as it's linked to that topic. So everyone in the class in year 13 is doing completely different stuff, but it all feeds into that one topic set by Pearson. What's really important is that all of this work from year 12 and 13 goes into their university portfolios, which I'll speak a little bit about in a second. Okay, so this is just a small sample of some of the careers that the level 3 course can lead to. because if students want to take this and then they want to go into design at university, then the next step after that would be a career within the design industry. So I won't read them all out, but you can just have a quick look here. This is just a very, very small sample. Like I explained earlier, UI UX is a really popular career now. Obviously, websites and apps are everywhere, and this is a really good industry to get into in future. Fashion promotion is not designing fashion products, it's promoting them in magazines, advertisements, editorials, and then we've got a lot of other subjects on there as well. Okay, so just some samples of student work, just so you can understand it a little bit better. This was a student who did a project for graphic design for restaurant branding. So they decided to choose the cuisine Mexican, and then they've created a logo or a brand identity. They've come up with the name of the restaurant, Soul Bowls, and they've created this brand, and then they've designed the menu that you would see in the restaurant. So this is the adult one, and we've got the kids version here. Really nice. They've used all their illustration skills, and then the other promotional products that you might see in a restaurant themed around Mexican cuisine. Another different project again. This is from Ruby, who's now in year 13. She wants to go and do graphic design at university, but she really likes doing illustration. So she set herself the brief of sun cream packaging and for this brand called Sunkissed. So she's designed the packaging illustrations and then the poster advertisements that would go in magazines or out in the street to advertise that. And there's 3 different product packaging here. One's light sunscreen, one's like your everyday, and one is your water resistant. This one is from Angus, and we do a lot of social media design actually in the course, because that's kind of where design has gone to now. It's no longer really everything is printed. Everything now is digital. A lot of the advertisements you might see are on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook. So Angus here has chosen to design an Instagram story for World Ocean Day. So as you click through the story, the screen changes. It tells people a little bit more about the topic, encourages them to donate. And he also created this brand identity here for the charity Plastic Ocean. And then lastly, this one, really interesting project. What we like to do in the level 3 course is involve industry professionals. So we try to get every year a real client to work with students. This client is a company in Hong Kong. You might have seen them before, Kombucha. They create their own kombucha drink, and they sell it in the supermarkets all around Hong Kong. So they set the challenge to students to design a Christmas-themed kombucha packaging for the banana bread flavour. And then they wanted 20% of the proceeds to go to Hong Kong Dog Rescue. So this is the winning student. Their designs were featured in City Super. So you can see it for sale here in the fridges. Oh, and then lastly, another charity project. We've got Myra here and the students now in year 13 who designed Lycée for charity. Okay, so university applications. So one thing I just wanted to cover was, what does a top design university look like? So it's not part of the Russell Group. A top design university necessarily isn't an Ivy League university. Excuse me. Oops. Sorry, I think I'm having some technical difficulties. Can you hear me? It's okay now. Okay, thanks, BJ. Let's just click through. Oh, okay. So a good design university at good design course at university. It should really be a modern course. It should be future thinking. It should have a lot of technology in the degree course. It should be very technology led. So like I said previously, I don't know if that bit cut out, but it's not part of a Russell Group. It's not an Ivy League university like Oxford or Cambridge. I'm going to show you a list in a second of the top design universities around the world that we've populated and a lot of our students apply to. And you can have a look at the courses that they offer, and it'll cover some of this criteria. A really good design university should have strong connections with industry, and a lot of them actually offer a university placement year where they have connections with design agencies around the world, and they let students do a one-year placement. So that's a really good offer. And that course, if the student did pick that at university, is called a sandwich degree course, and it's a 4-year course instead of 3 years. And it's an entire year out on work placement at a design agency. So just to give you an example, UCLan University in the UK, that does offer a 3-year graphic design course, but they also have the 1-year placement, and that's in the north of the UK. However, when you do the placement year, you can go to London for the entire year and work in a company there. So a lot of the universities actually offer placement courses. It should also have award-winning students and lecturers. So there is an award called the D&AD Pencil. When you're looking for universities as a parent and you're looking for design courses, have a look, do the lecturers and the students win awards? And the lecturers should have vast industry experience themselves. So they should have done a certain number of years in some of the top design agencies worldwide. And then lastly, look at the facilities. Like we have at West Island School, if you've been to our school, we've got massive workshops, lots of equipment, creative studios. It's the same for universities. They should have fantastic creative facilities. Okay, so the application process. And this is for if students are applying specifically for something in design. So in year 13, a student will choose multiple design universities and courses that they want to apply to. They will upload some documentation to UCAS or to the system that we show them in school, and they'll upload things like a personal statement, their predicted grades from their IB and BTEC subjects on the CP or the ID pathway. They will then be asked to upload a copy of their design portfolio to a university portal. And this is really important part of the course. In year 13, we build the portfolio with students ready for university applications. They might be invited after that to a virtual interview with the university via Zoom, or if it's a university in this country, they might have to go to the university physically, meet with the course lecturers, talk through their work. And then they will get an offer. And hopefully it's either a conditional or an unconditional offer. Conditional means that there is a grade-based offer attached to it. So they might say, we are giving you a conditional offer. We'd like you to pass your BTEC Digital Design and get, I don't know, a 4 in your IB Art course. Unconditional offer means that we really like your portfolio. We don't have any restrictions on your application. So there are no grades that we require you to get at the end of year 13. As I mentioned earlier, all the students studying the BTEC International Diploma in Digital Design, they're supported by the teaching staff for the whole entire process, all the way through, from building the portfolio to doing the applications to the practice interviews, to understanding the offers. And that's just a brief timeline. Okay, so we will share these slides with you, and on them, on this slide, you'll be able to access this spreadsheet. And this is the university list that I talked about earlier. And this, if I just click into it, hopefully this loads. This is a list of the universities that we know as design teachers are really top quality universities for our design students to go to. And they're all linked to digital design specifically. So there's different tabs for different countries. We've got United Kingdom here, and then various universities. And we've linked the courses that they teach in relation to digital design. You've got the UCAS codes. And then if on their website there are any specific GCSE grades they want students to have, normally it's only maths and English. And it's very, very low grades in those subjects, but we've listed those there. And again, you've got stuff for Europe, North America, and Australia. So you can have a look through that. It's a really good resource. The students use that a lot in year 13 when they're making their choices. So just a couple of case studies from our past students who've done the IBCP or the ID pathway. So student 1, IBCP pathway, studying the actual qualification that the course is under is called BTEC Art and Design, but we focus on the digital design units. So studying the BTEC in Art and Design, they also are doing a BTEC in Business, which is one of our other BTEC offerings, and IB Film at standard level. You can see here, this is where they ended up going to study graphic design at Edinburgh Napier University, great university. And they had this restriction on their offer to get a DD in the BTEC Art and Design and a pass in Business. No mention of the IB grades. And this is after portfolio review. Another student in the USA went in the end to study illustration at the School of Visual Arts in New York City. Again, they did the BTEC in Art and Design or Digital Design. They studied IB English at higher level, IB Maths Application Standard, IB Psychology Standard. These subjects, no relation to design at all. But students, that's the good thing about the CP pathway or the ID pathway, they can choose subjects that they're really passionate about, that they're interested in. And then the offer was just to maintain current grades. ID pathway, so this is where they choose multiple BTECs. And this student, Canada, OCAD, again, a great university in Toronto, went to study illustration. The only grade restriction from them after seeing the portfolio was that the student got a 4 in their IB English. And what they'll do is they'll just look at the subjects that students are actually studying in IB, and then they'll suggest a grade if it is a conditional offer. So they won't say you've got to get a 4 in maths if they're not studying that actual subject. Australia, we've had students go to. So again, this student did the BTEC in Art and Design, but ended up going to study visual art. Studied English, Maths and History on the IB pathway. And then that's their offer there. So just a couple of predicted grades. And then lastly, Hong Kong. So we have had students go to the Hong Kong Design Institute. And this student was on the ID pathway doing art and design, performing arts, which is another one of our BTEC offers, and IB English Langlet standard level. And you can see there the offer for them was not based on their IB, it was just based on their BTEC subjects. These 2 students we had last year in our cohort in year 13, and they're just quite interesting case studies. Both on the IBCP pathway, both doing a mix of BTEC and IB subjects, only choosing 2 IB subjects alongside their BTEC. And the IB subjects not related again to design, but they had a really strong design portfolio that they built on the digital design course. They applied to 5 different universities in the UK each, and they got into every single university that they applied to, which is fantastic. But Angus, he actually was accepted into graphic design at Staffordshire University, which is one of the top design universities in the UK. And they offered him a £3,000 a year scholarship. So if he would have studied there, he would get a discount on his tuition fees. Indy, again, great student, really good portfolio. She got an unconditional offer, so no grades at all for Nottingham Trent. Okay, has anyone got any questions? You can drop them into the chat, I think. That will work. Do I get to the chat? Any questions, BJ? None? Okay. Well, if you guys do have any questions, you can drop me an email. You have got my email from invitations to this webinar, but we also have a day in school where you are invited to come into school in person and chat to different teachers about the post-16 subjects that maybe your children are interested in. So I will be there then on that date. That's going to be shared with parents shortly if it's not been already. And you can come to my classroom, which is B603, and I'll show you some more examples of student work. And if you have got any questions about the pathway on the IBCP or the ID, then you can ask me in person then. Okay, there is a question now. What is the difference between IBCP and ID? Okay, so IBCP has more IB subjects in it. So on the IBCP, students can choose 2 BTECs and 2 IB. But on the ID pathway, students can do less subjects, basically. They can still do 2 BTECs, but they can do 1 IB. So it's got a little bit more time for other stuff is the main thing. And there's something in the IBCP called the core, where students have to write a reflective project essay. And if they choose the ID pathway, they don't have to do the essay elements of the IB pathway. So for some students, it's a little bit better, the ID pathway, because they get more free periods where they can work on their coursework for their 2 BTEC subjects. And they also don't have to do that academic piece of writing called the reflective project. So that's the main difference. Any other questions? Nope. Okay, great. Well, thank you all for your time. And like I said, I might hopefully see you at the in-person parents' evening in a couple of weeks' time. And then I think we do also have a parents' evening in January where I'll see you all then to talk about students' work. Thank you. Bye.